Today I'm going to give you everything you need to know about Tucson, Arizona, going through the entire alphabet A to Z, and hitting on the most popular attractions that Tucson has to offer, and why Tucsonans love this place so much. Without further ado, I'm going to keep this intro short. Let's get into it. Our first letter is A, and that is for A Mountain. A Mountain is also known as Sentinel Peak, and it's a very prominent mountain that we have here. And from A Mountain, you can see one of my favorite hikes, but that's gonna be a little further down the list, so be sure you stick around. Okay, so here is a little bit backstory on A Mountain. So all these letters that I'm gonna be talking about have some kind of history to them or something pretty cool to them. So this is A Mountain. A Mountain is the mountain that was created in 1916 by the University of Arizona students after a football victory over Pomona College. It's a 160-foot ladder, was built using basalt rock from the mountain and was originally white. And over the years, it's been painted, it's been blue, it's been white, it's been red, it has all sorts of different colors that it's been. But it's basically a big staple here in Tucson. B is for Biosphere 2. Now this is one that I have never visited. I have heard about it, I've seen it, you can see it when you're hiking. So here's a little backstory on the Biosphere. Biosphere 2 is a massive research facility located about 40 minutes north of Tucson in Oracle, Arizona. It was built in the late 1980s, and it was originally designed as a closed ecological system to study sustainability and the possibility of self-sufficient living in space. So this place is pretty big. It's on 3.14 acres. That's Pi Day. That's March 14th. I miss Pi Day. I love pie. The facility spans 3.14 acres and houses multiple biomes, including a rainforest, an ocean with a coral reef, savanna, desert, and mangrove wetlands, all enclosed under a futuristic glass structure. So that's pretty cool. It sounds like I need to add that to my list of places to go check out. C is pretty simple. C is for cactus. And if you've ever been to Tucson, you know that we have cactus everywhere. And of course, our very iconic cactus is the saguaro cactus. So some of my favorite cactuses. Anyway, one of my favorites is the Queen of the Night. And it's a beautiful cactus. It blooms, but it only blooms at night. So the blooms are like really, really big. I have some friends that actually have some of the Queen of the Night cactuses in their yard, and they have a camera on it, a video camera, so they can see it bloom at night, because by the time you wake up in the morning, it's gone. I like the Santa Rita prickly pear. So they're your typical prickly pear, but they are actually purple, and they are so pretty. And the cool thing about our cactuses, I don't even know which one to use. I'm just gonna go with cacti, because technically that's the appropriate way to say it. One of the cool things about our cacti is that our prickly pear is very, very common around here, and the fruit's used for all sorts of things. Prickly pear margaritas, prickly pear jam. You can actually use the prickly pear leaf. I think it's called nopales is what we use it for. You can grill that. I've actually eaten that, it's really, really good. But there's desert everywhere, and if you go hiking, don't touch anything. Respect the desert, and it'll respect you. So D is for Desert Museum. This is actually one of my favorite attractions here in Tucson, and anytime that I have anybody come here to visit me in Tucson, this is where I take them. The Desert Museum is kind of far, far west. I recommend taking Gates Pass if you ever want to go see it. Gates Pass is just a gorgeous place, and it's also a really great place that you want to see if you ever want to see a sunset. Well, you can see sunsets really anywhere, but Gates Pass is it's an incredible place to see a sunset. So the Desert Museum houses all of our desert creatures that we have here. A quadamundi, it has a mountain lion, it has bobcats, it has javelina, and then you also have the tarantulas, the rattlesnakes. Not a big fan of either one of those. Actually, tarantula aren't that terrible. I thought it was going to be terrifying when I first moved here to see a tarantula, because I do not like spiders. I would actually prefer to have a pet snake than ever run into a spider. But the tarantula, they're actually very, I don't know, they're cool around here. They don't bother me when I see them out here. But I digress. So it has, all sorts of scenery out there. You can walk around. There's a little trail that's like a mile around. They actually have a new exhibition that's coming, and I think it's the Rito River or something like that. So they have lots of stuff there. They have a beautiful gift shop full of stuff, a coffee shop. They have a restaurant there. They have shows that you can see. They have a tequila tour. They'll teach you how to make tequila. Well, they tell you how to make tequila. You can't actually make tequila there. You can go home and try though. It's really, really cool. I love taking people there, and they show you gems. So if you're into gems, that's another letter we're gonna go talk about a little bit further down. It just has everything, and it's so cool. So that's one of my favorite places. E is for El Charro. Now this is a very well-known restaurant here in Tucson, and the history behind El Charro is that they actually came up with the chimichanga, which is true. So look it up, you will see they are the creators of the chimichanga. But El Charro started off with a restaurant downtown. That's their primary restaurant. Now they have a restaurant, an El Charro restaurant in Oro Valley, and they have an El Charro restaurant on the northeast side, and I believe that's on Cole Road. So they have those restaurants, and they have Charro del Rey and Steak, I think is what it's called. And they have all sorts of different like spin-off restaurants. They have Charro Vida now, and Charro Vida is a vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free option, Mexican style food. That's also in Oro Valley. So El Charro has a deep-rooted history here, but the main thing that I like about them is the chimichanga. Although that's not what I get when I go there, I always get ceviche. There's more history to El Charro than just the chimichanga, but that's the most important thing to me because that's gonna lead me to my next letter, F, for food. And if you've been watching any of my videos, you know that I love food and I am a foodie, self-proclaimed foodie. Tucson is actually a UNESCO City of Gastronomy. And that essentially means that it's a designation that we've received for being deep-rooted in our cultural, wide variety of food that we have here. And of course, you know that I've mentioned Via Peru as one of my all-time favorites. There's so many places. Via Peru, Bocha's on the south side, Vivace for Italian, Cafe Torino for Italian, Tavolino for Italian. Then you also have your traditional places like Little Abner's, and that's kind of an older steakhouse, and I've been there once and I loved it and I cannot wait to go back. We have some just very high-rated restaurants here and so many different options that you can try, and since food is pretty much my favorite thing in this whole wide world, I had to make food. F, be food. G is for golf. Now I am an avid golfer, albeit a terrible golfer, but I am a golfer. And so Tucson is one of the best golf destinations in the United States. Mainly for its weather is almost perfect all year round. Even in the summertime, there are still a lot of people here golfing, even though it's really, really hot. Obviously, it's not as busy as it is the rest of the year. But Tucson has 31 golf courses. We have private golf courses, semi-private golf courses, municipal golf courses. Some of our private courses include Skyline Country Club, the Gallery, Stone Canyon. Some of our semi-privates include El Conquistador, Ventana Canyon, the Ritz-Carlton, and then we have public and municipal. It's Randolph, Silver Bell. There's lots of municipal courses. We have tons of golfing here, and the scenery here on the golf courses is amazing, amazing. H is for hiking. There are so many places in Tucson that you can hike. One of my personal favorites is Blackett's Ridge and Sabino Canyon. One of my husband's favorites is the Linda Vista Trailhead that takes you up to Push Ridge. That is my absolute least favorite one, and I will never do that one again. I've done it twice. When I first moved here, my husband moved here about a month before me while I was getting everything settled in Georgia to move here. And he went every weekend, he would go do a different hike. Every Saturday, every Sunday, he would try a different hike. And when I moved here, he asked me which hike I wanted to do. Did I want to do a short one that was difficult, or did I want to do a long one that was pretty easy? And at that point in time, I was in shape. So I said, well, let's do a short one. Let's do the difficult one. It's fine. Get it done with. Then we can go have nachos. It was the worst hike I've ever done in my entire life. And if you do it, then make sure that you bring lots of water and you prepare because there's no shade. There's no shade. Bring some rock climbing shoes because there's a lot that you have to. I'm having nightmares just thinking about it. But other than that one, like I said, I like Blackett's Trail. Catalina State Park has some really beautiful trails, some easy ones for beginners. They also have some more difficult ones like Romero Pools. In Dove Mountain and the Torrelita Mountains, you have the Wild Burro Trailhead that has tons of trails through the mountains that you can do there. I mean, it is literally everywhere on every mountain. And one of my favorite hikes that my husband and I did was Saguaro National Park East, and we did Rincon Peak. So we climbed all the way to the top. So about 4 miles in, there's a place you can drop off your backpack and all of your stuff if you want to camp out. So we hiked up there, we backpacked up there, set everything up, finished the rest of the hike to the top, 360 views. They actually used to have a cairn up there where people would come put the rocks in. It was a huge one, and somebody actually went up there and destroyed the cairn, which was very sad. But we went to the top, 360 views of everything. We came back down, we stayed the night, and then we left. And that's another one to be careful for, though, and make sure you bring a lot of water. Actually, all the hiking trips, you should bring water. But there's so many different mountains and views and hiking trails that you can do. So it's just a mecca for hiking here. I is Interstate 10. And this may not sound like a big deal to you, but Interstate 10 is the interstate that connects Tucson to Phoenix. That's the one that's going to take you to New Mexico. It's the one that's going to take you across the country. And it is the one interstate that we have in Tucson, which I think keeps our traffic down as opposed to Phoenix, where they have more and more traffic. J is for the gem show. No, not because gem starts with a J, because it doesn't, but it's for jewelry. So G was already taken by golf. So we had to put the gem show jewelry under J. So the jewelry gem show is a big show that we have in Tucson, and it's every February, and it brings people from all over the world here. It is a huge event. If you like rocks, this is your place to go. They have jewelry, they have sculptures, they have just big rocks, beautiful rocks around, like just so much of it is an absolute must-see that everybody goes to here in Tucson and outside of Tucson, the world. And I'm serious when I say everybody in the world comes here. K is for Kitt Peak Observatories. It is a great place for stargazing, but because there is more to it, I'm going to read to you exactly what Kitt Peak National Observatory is. And it is one of the world's premier astronomical observatories, located about 50 miles southwest of Tucson in the Quinlan Mountains on the Tohono O'odham Nation's land. It was established in 1958. Kitt Peak is a home to over 20 telescopes, including the Nicholas U. Mayall 4-meter telescope and the WIYN telescope. I don't know what that means, but anybody interested in telescopes and stars might. It's played a crucial role in astronomical discoveries, from mapping galaxies to studying exoplanets. So they actually offer private tours, which is pretty cool. That's another one that I need to add to my list. They have a night sky viewing program and astrophotography workshops. So it's a must-visit place for space enthusiasts. So another one that I'm going to add to my list. L is for Loft Cinema. It is a movie theater that is downtown, and it is actually known for showing indie films, cult classics, things like that. My husband and I got to go there. I think it was sometime last year we went and saw a ski documentary there. And they actually had the actors from the, well, not actors, it's a documentary. They had the director from it that actually, they were there and they were giving away prizes, which was really cool. So they have a lot of cool events there. And let's see, so they host things like their Loft Film Fest, so it's an annual festival celebrating independent and international films. So if you're wanting to see something like that's just coming out, it's going to be a blockbuster, it's probably not the place to go. But if you're looking for a cool place to see older movies, cult classics, and indie films, that's where you want to go. M is for Mount Lemmon. So Mount Lemmon is one of my favorite places to go. And Mount Lemmon is kind of a sanctuary to go away from the heat. So they actually have a place called Summer Haven at the very top, which makes sense because when it is hot down in Tucson, Summer Haven is where you want to go. So Tucson is, obviously, you know, it gets pretty hot. Top of Mount Lemmon is about 30 degrees cooler at the top. So if you are hot, that is where you want to go. I like hiking up there at the very, very top. There's this great place that I go camping at. My husband and I backpack in. It's about 1.5 miles in. It's not even that far. They actually have a place right there. They already have a fire pit there and rocks around. So it's a place that people go hiking and camping out. But it's perfect because you're right there in this edge of this kind of, not really on the edge of a cliff, but you're kind of on the edge of the mountain, sort of. One side, you see the sunset, and then the next morning the sun rises this way and you get to see the beautiful sunrise. The hike's amazing. It's just a really great place to go hiking, to go running, obviously to escape from the summer and go to Summer Haven. Another cool thing about Mount Lemmon is that it is a great place for rock climbing. So if you're into rock climbing, I think they have something like 2,000 different rock climbing trails that you can do if you're into that. Also, Mount Lemmon has a different ecosystem. So I think it's every 1,000 feet in elevation. It has a different ecosystem. So as you're going up to the top of the mountain, you'll see the saguaro start disappearing. There's no more saguaro. The evergreens start coming out. You start seeing different things. And yes, on the top of Mount Lemmon, there are bears, which you won't see down at the bottom of the mountain unless it gets really hot. But that's another story for another day. As you're going up, you start seeing everything changing and you start feeling everything changing because the temperature is cooler. And when you get to the top at Summer Haven is just right before the very, very top. The very top is where you go hiking. But Summer Haven, they have a restaurant there. They actually just revamped it and did a new menu since I was there last, and it was really good. They have one of the best cookie shops up there. They've added a bunch of shops up there, so if you haven't been to Mount Lemmon recently, you definitely need to go. If you've never been to Mount Lemmon, you definitely need to go. They have a new hotel up there. They have some cabins they just built, a new lodge up there they just built. So lots of things to do, places to stay, hikes to do, rock climbing if you're into that, and just a really beautiful mountain to visit. So I definitely recommend that. I'm gonna pause this video. If you are learning anything about Tucson, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that like button, and let's get into it. No, get back into it. This is gonna be a terrible social media video. This is gonna be terrible. N is for night sky. It's no surprise that our night skies out here are amazing. You can see the stars everywhere. However, the main thing about the night skies is that Tucson is an international dark sky city, which basically means, actually I don't really know what that means. I just know it's a good thing. Basically what it means, this is like the kind of the dumbed down version, because I don't know the smart version. The dumbed down version is you can see the stars here. And Saguaro National Park is actually an urban dark sky. It is a mountain area that is close kind of to the city. So one of the things about Tucson being a night sky, international dark sky designation city, is that there are a lot of cities here, like Oro Valley, I believe in the foothills. There's a lot of areas in Tucson that actually do not allow for streetlights because they don't want any sky pollution. And if you ever go outside at nighttime, you're gonna be grateful for this, because if you stand there and look up, you can see all of the stars. My husband and I like to get into the hot tub at night, turn off all the lights, the hot tub lights, everything around, and we just sit there and the stars are just amazing. You can just see stars for miles and miles. If you go to Oracle State Park, that's actually a really great place to see the stars, because it's actually a little bit darker there, a little less population light and light pollution. So yeah, that's a cool thing. So O is for Owls Club, and the Owls Club is a hangout spot, a bar in downtown Tucson, and is actually a former funeral home. That sounds creepy. And when you go in there, they do have some of the pews from when it was a funeral home, but it's got a very kind of sexy, sultry vibe. They've got lots of whiskey there, really great drinks there if you like cocktails. But let me read you a little bit about what it says. So it is a cocktail bar in downtown Tucson. It's inside a historic former funeral home. So it has a warm vintage aesthetic with dim light, a cozy fireplace, and stained glass owl window, which is kind of that sexy, sultry vibe I was telling you about. It specializes in classic cocktails, whiskey and mezcal spirits. And is a favorite spot for locals who enjoy a relaxed, intimate setting with great drinks and a touch of history. So it's pretty cool. It's definitely a place you need to check out once. Grab a cocktail. If it freaks you out that it was a funeral home, then enjoy that cocktail and get out. But it is a big hangout spot here in Tucson. P is for Pima Air and Space Museum. It is actually the largest, I think, the largest aerospace museum in the world. And it is located in Tucson. So a little bit more detailed information on this as well, is it spans over 80 acres and features more than 400 aircrafts from different eras of aviation history. So it has a massive collection of planes that you can go and see and actually tour and get in them. And they have boneyard tours. The boneyard is at Davis-Monthan, and it's where a lot of the retired aircrafts are stored here in the desert. If you like space and you like airplanes, it is a cool place to go. Of course, Tucson has Davis-Monthan Air Force Base here, so we have all that kind of military vibe in that area. Really cool place to go. Another one that I have not been to, I drive past it, I see the airplanes. Another one I've got to add to the list. And apparently I'm not as much of a Tucsonan as I thought I was, because as I'm reading these cool things that everybody knows about here, if you're from here, I've never been to the Pima Air and Space Museum. I'm actually ashamed. I'm ashamed. I'm gonna work on that for you guys and I'll report back. Q is for quail. So this may seem like a weird one, but there are quail everywhere around here. And one of the things that I like about quail and why I wanted to put this in here for the Q is because when I'm golfing, my favorite time of year is when they start having little babies. And we'll see them as we're golfing. They'll run across. So there's always one of the parents running, then the second parents run, and then the babies are running. And they have lots and lots of babies. And they're probably like this big. They are so tiny. So many babies. And actually they kind of stay in families. So you'll have 4 adult birds and all the babies together. And then as the weeks go on, you'll still see the parents and the quail running, and then you'll see their kids running behind them, and their kids are a little big. And then they get a little bigger. So my husband and I like to joke that they're little babies, and then they're toddlers, and now they're teenagers, and they're full-grown adults. So the sad thing is, probably shouldn't even put this in there, but the sad thing is they start off with mini, And then nature does its thing, and as it goes, they might end up with like 4 teenagers by the time it's all done. Don't put that in there. It's very depressing. But it's pretty cool. It's just cool. That's one of the things I love about Tucson is all the wildlife, and quail just seemed like an easy one for cute because I love quail, and they're so cute with their little things on their head when they run. R is for road runners. Not because we have road runners here, which we do. We have road runners everywhere, and they're pretty cool. But road runners is actually for the Tucson Road Runners, which is our AHL hockey team. And I know that that sounds surprising that the desert actually has a hockey team, but we do, and it is a lot of fun to go to. So if you ever get to catch a Roadrunner game, go see one. S is for Saguaro National Park. So Saguaro National Park is a huge national park, and it's actually separated in Saguaro National West and Saguaro National East. Saguaro National East is where the Rincon Mountains are. That is where the Rincon hike is that I was telling you guys about. Tucson West is actually where the Desert Museum is. It's in that area over there. 2 very different areas, 2 different sets of hiking trails that you see. They both have tons of saguaro, I guess hence the name. But it's a really cool park, a really well-known park that you guys gotta visit when you come here. Try some of the hikes, east side, west side, whatever you gotta do, but you gotta go check out Saguaro National Park. T is for Tumamoc. So I mentioned earlier when we were talking about a mountain, Sentinel Peak, that you could see one of my favorite trails there. So Tumamoc is a very popular hiking destination. It's not really a trail. It's not one of your off-road things. It is a paved trail. It's about 1.5 miles up to the top. It's very tough. You can do it. You can walk it. It's worth it if you make it to the top, or when you make it to the top. You will make it to the top if you get there early enough to watch the Tucson sunrise. So you can, when you get to the top, you can just see all the cities. You can see the mountain. I mean, you can see everything up there. But the best part is getting up there early enough to see the sunrise. And it is a really, really good workout. When I first moved here, I used to run to the top and run down. Had a little bit too many chimichangas from El Toro, so a little bit more difficult for me to run to the top and run back down now, but it's a really cool hiking spot if you want to just get in like a quick 3 mile. I say quick 3 miles. For me, it's probably not very quick because it's a little tough to get up there, but pretty steep, well worth it, easy to get down. You're gonna love it. U is for the University of Arizona and our Wildcat fever, our Wildcat spirit here. So we have, obviously, the Wildcats. We have golf, we have baseball, we have basketball, and we have football. I am personally a huge football fan. I come from Georgia, where the SEC is basically a religion down there. So we're big fans of the football, watching a football game. It's kind of easy to catch a football game here. It's really close to everything. So when I'd watch football back in Georgia, I'd have to drive an hour and a half just to see a football game. And here it's like 20 minutes away, really from every direction. At the top of the U of A Stadium, they have a place called the Sands Club, S-A-N-D-S, not Sam's Club. It's a kind of a private area. You can become a member there. You can eat there. And that gives you a really cool view of the stadium and a cool view of the mountains as well. And then right now, I would say probably the biggest sport that people like here, if you have Wildcat spirit, is basketball. Basketball is huge here because the basketball team is really, really good. A lot of good spirit there. V is for Village Bakehouse. So Village Bakehouse is on Oracle and McGee Road. It's in the corner of a little shopping center. They make the most amazing pastries. They make really cool cakes. So when you go in there, you can actually pick up a cake if you want. Best to order ahead and put your order in for the cake so they can make you what they want because it's a very popular destination. When you walk in, they have a display case just full of pastries. You can also get breakfast and lunch there, and their food is delicious. And it's very busy. So it's just a kind of, I would say hole in the wall, but everybody knows about it around here, so not necessarily. My favorite thing to get there is the cinnamon roll. That bad boy is massive, and it is so good. W is for wildflower. So in the spring, we get amazing wildflowers. So people think of the desert, they think of brown, they think of cactus, they think of kind of like, I don't know, dusty, dirty. That's what I thought of before I moved out here. But in the summers, we get our monsoon seasons, if we have a good monsoon season. And then the winter, we get winter rains. If we have a good winter rain, we don't always have it. Let's start over, ignore that. So we have a good winter rain, we'll have really great wildflowers in the spring. If you go to Catalina State Park, they have yellow flowers, purple flowers, pink flowers. If you go to Picacho, they have those as well, but when you're driving past Picacho Peak, just a little bit northwest of Tucson, it's going towards Phoenix, probably like a 30-45 minute drive from Oro Valley. Well worth it if you ever want to hike it or just wander around and see the wildflowers. And you can see them from really far away because there are so many orange and yellow wildflowers. It's so pretty. So it's kind of a cool thing here because there actually is a lot of color. There is a lot of beauty out here in Tucson. I could talk about Wildflower being one of my favorite restaurants too. Wildflower, W for Wildflower, is twofold actually. I have a restaurant that I love to go. It's called Wildflower. It's in Oro Valley. It is by Ina and Oracle, and it's a delicious local restaurant. I recommend getting the short rib ravioli. It is my favorite. Really good restaurant to check out. X is for Mission San Xavier del Bac. Now there is a lot of history to this place, so I want to read it to you instead of just trying to fumble off dates and information, because it's a very like historical place here in Tucson. So Mission San Xavier del Bac, often called the White Dove of the Desert, is a historic Spanish Catholic mission located about 10 miles south of downtown Tucson. It was founded in 1692 by Jesuit missionary Father Eusebio Kino, and later rebuilt between 1783 and 1797 by Franciscan priests. So this mission is a stunning example of Spanish colonial architecture with intricate carvings, vibrant frescoes, and ornate statues inside. It remains an active church serving the Tohono O'odham Nation, who has a deep cultural and spiritual tie to it. It is actually one of the most visited landmarks in Arizona, drawing tourists, history buffs, and pilgrims alike. I don't really know what that means by pilgrims alike, but we don't really have any of those there. I feel like that was back in the day on the East Coast, but whatever. You can explore the museum, you can attend mass, you can walk up the nearby hill for panoramic views of the mission and surrounding desert. So really great place to go if you're into historical monuments like that. So there you go. Y is for year-round sunshine. That may seem obvious, but a lot of people like to move here to Tucson because of the weather. The weather is beautiful. And yes, I think something like 300 days to 320 days out of the year, you have sunshine, which is incredible. Year-round sunshine, it's year-round sunshine. It's sunshine all year round. So you can eat outside, you can go do walking most of the year round, you can go run outside, you can go hiking almost all year round. So yeah, year-round sunshine, pretty simple, straightforward. Z is for zoo, as in Reed Park Zoo. So Reed Park Zoo is obviously a zoo here in Tucson that has, I know this may surprise you, but the zoo has animals in it. It's getting to be the end of this video and I need more coffee. So it has lots of animals, and actually one of the things that I like about the zoo is they have a giraffe there and you can feed it. I have a picture around somewhere where you can feed the giraffe. They give you like a carrot or something to give it, and this giraffe is enormous, and you don't realize how big giraffes are until you actually see them in person, I mean, and they're like right here. So I got to feed the giraffe. The giraffe's tongue is massive. It sticks its tongue out, it's kind of black, and grabs the food and eats it, and it's a cool experience. It's creepy. The tongue feels really weird, but it's cool, and it's a smaller zoo, so you don't, like some of these other zoos, you know, you have to walk around and around and around, but this one's a smaller zoo, but it has lots of cool creatures there to go see, and I think that's it. If you feel like you've learned something about Tucson from this video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and we will see you on the next video.